So, we've all heard of obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, but it's so much more than the stereotypes you see on TV. For people who actually live with it, it can honestly feel like you're a prisoner in your own mind, just trapped in this never-ending loop of thoughts and behaviors. But what if the way out wasn't about fighting harder? What if it was about changing the fight itself?
I think this quote just nails it. OCD, a relentless tenant who doesn't know when to call it a day. Right? It's this constant, exhausting presence that just never leaves, and it can make everyday life feel like a massive uphill battle.
So, to find a way out, first we have to really understand the trap itself. And as you'll see, this thing goes way deeper than just, washing your hands or checking the stove.
The trap is basically built on two key parts. First, you've got obsessions. These are those intrusive, unwanted thoughts or images that just pop into your head and bring on this huge wave of anxiety. They're the constant what if. Then you have the compulsions. These are the repetitive things, either behaviors or mental rituals that you feel totally driven to do to try and get rid of that anxiety. They're the desperate, I have to do this response.
And this is where it gets really sticky, because these two parts lock together and create this vicious cycle. An intrusive thought pops in. Boom, anxiety and distress shoot up. So, to get some relief, you do the compulsion. And yeah, for a second it works. The anxiety goes down. But here's the catch. That relief is only temporary. And worse, doing the compulsion actually teaches your brain that the original thought was truly dangerous. So the next time it shows up, it feels even stronger, and the cycle just gets tighter and tighter. And this brings us to a really crucial point. The real trap isn't actually the thoughts. I mean, our minds produce thoughts all day long. That's what they do. The trap is the endless, exhausting tug-of-war against them. That constant struggle to fight, to control, to analyze, to get rid of them, that's what drains your life force and makes your world feel so small.
But what if you could just drop the rope? And this leads us to a whole different way of looking at things. It's a therapeutic approach called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT for short, and it suggests a totally radical new way to deal with this internal battle.
You see, the traditional goal has always been to try and eliminate the unwanted thoughts, to win the war against your mind. Well, ACT just flips that whole script. The goal isn't to get rid of the thoughts, but to change your relationship with them. It's not about winning the war, it's about choosing not to fight it in the first place. You learn to live a full, rich life despite the symptoms, instead of waiting for them to magically disappear. So how in the world does ACT do that? Well, it's built on 6 core principles, and they all work together to help you build something called psychological flexibility. That's basically the ability to stay in the present moment and move toward what's important to you, even when all those difficult thoughts and feelings show up.
Okay, first up is a principle called cognitive diffusion. It's all about learning to separate yourself from your thoughts. The idea is that your thoughts are just events in your mind. They're just words and pictures. They aren't objective truths you have to follow. I love this metaphor here. You can let your thoughts pass by like trains at a station without feeling like you have to jump on every single one.
The second principle is acceptance. Now, this doesn't mean you have to like your thoughts, not at all. It just means making some room for them, letting them be there without that constant draining struggle. It's about finally dropping the rope in that mental tug of war. The moment you stop fighting, you stop giving them so much power.
Number 3 is being present. This is really all about mindfulness. You know how OCD loves to pull you into worries about the future or things that happened in the past? Well, mindfulness helps you anchor yourself right here, right now. By connecting with what's happening in this very moment, you can unhook from that automatic cycle of obsession and compulsion. And that leads to this really powerful idea called self as context. This helps you realize that you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, you are not your OCD. You are the observer of all that stuff. As it says here, you are the sky, not the weather. The weather can be stormy and chaotic, but the sky, the vast, aware part of you, is always there, unchanged. With that foundation, we get to the real heart of it all, values clarification. ACT asks some really big questions. What truly matters to you? Deep down, what kind of person do you want to be? Your values become your compass, your North Star, pointing you in the direction of a life that actually means something to you, no matter what your OCD is screaming in the background.
And the final piece of the puzzle is committed action. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's about taking actual, concrete steps in the direction your values are pointing. And here's the key. You do it even when discomfort and anxiety show up for the ride. It's choosing to go to that party or apply for that job with the anxiety instead of waiting for it to go away first.
So, when you put all these principles together, you create a new path forward. These aren't just abstract ideas. They become this practical toolkit for building a rich, meaningful life simply by aligning what you do with what you care about. And the benefits are just huge. ACT helps take the urgency out of compulsions. It makes you more mindful and present in your own life. And, most importantly, it gets your actions in line with what you truly value. You build this amazing psychological flexibility and resilience that helps you deal with all of life's challenges, not just the ones from OCD.
So ultimately, this whole approach completely redefines the goal. It's not really about getting rid of OCD, it's about finding freedom from the struggle. And this is probably the biggest takeaway of all. Freedom is not the absence of uncomfortable thoughts. I mean, let's be real, that's not a realistic goal for any human being. True freedom is having the flexibility to live a meaningful life without being controlled by those thoughts. It's creating that space to choose what really matters.
Because that's what it all comes down to. The goal isn't a quiet mind. The goal is a full life.
Exploring the threads of human behavior is a journey without limits. Join us as we weave together the complex patterns of the mind and spirit. If you like this video, don't forget